All right, well, let's jump back into this and we'll kind of uncover what's going on. So each year, again, 200,000-ish service members transition out of the military. Surveys show that these new veterans struggle with unemployment or underemployment, excuse me, meaning they cannot find jobs that fully use the skills they've gained in the military. In fact, nearly 1/3 of veteran job seekers are underemployed, and I can absolutely agree with that. Which is almost twice as high as the rate for civilians. Gottenheimer's jobs plan for America's veterans aims to tackle the underemployment challenge head on. There is nothing more important in this job than my responsibility to always have the backs of those who have stepped up to protect us. After sacrificing so much, our veterans and active duty military should never struggle to get the to get the care, recognition, and respect they have rightfully earned, said Congressman Josh Gottenheimer. That's why today I'm excited to announce our new jobs plan for America's veterans. When Jersey veterans come home, and by default, the nation's veterans, it's just Jersey because that's where he's at, after they've fought for our country and accumulated countless skills, there's no reason they should have to fight to get a job. Yeah, that's a great quote. And before we jump into the bullet points here for his jobs plan for America's veterans, before we jump through those bullet points, any thoughts from you, Randy?
Yeah, well, we talked about it at the outset of the video a little bit, but it's this underemployment piece, and it's a translation of skills that service members learn while they're wearing the uniform, and then bringing those to the civilian world. That's where a lot of this gap is, and that gap doesn't necessarily lead to unemployment, because the statistics on that can be, kind of all over the map depending on the month, quarter, year, whatever's going on with the economy and as it relates to veterans. But the underemployment piece is unambiguous. It's continuous, and it's a real issue. So that 1/3 number that they mentioned is huge. It's way too high. And it's a big piece of this is taking the skills that service member learns while on active duty or in the reserves or National Guard, what have you, and translating it to, an appropriate place at an appropriate wage in the civilian world. So again, new legislation, new ideas. Some of this has been kind of tossed around before, but anytime somebody's taking an initiative, regardless of their political persuasion, I think we should support it if it helps the veterans community. Chris, what are your thoughts on this chunk of the article?
Yeah, it's about time, right? I mean, we've been in the helping service members transition business together collectively for more than 100 years. If you add all of our experiences up, well, close to more than 100 years. So, and this is the core issue that veterans struggle with, to be able to talk about how their experience in the military applies to experience in the commercial space. If you break all work that we do down into skills, and you can talk about that skill and the work that you've done based upon the collection of skills, that's not that different than what you do in the civilian world. Now, the industry might be different. The exact piece of machinery that you're working on might be different. But think about the military. We were always trained at the task level. Those tasks broke down into skills. When you got trained on the tasks, then you go through a training exercise, and you're either a go or a no-go at this station, soldier. And then if you went, and then when you went out into the field, you combine those tasks to execute on a mission. Now, if you actually break the work down into subsegments of skills that are in support of getting work done, i.e. a task or an achievement, a work accomplishment, and you could talk about it at that level, and the people that you're talking you're talking with about your experience in the military can understand it at that level, it breaks away all the things that separate military from civilian work, which really isn't that different. It's just the situation that you've applied that work in. And so, again, kudos to Representative Gottheimer, because the whole civilian war right now is kind of all over skills anyway. There's a lot of really incredible movement in this direction. But just like anything else, if the civilian sector breaks stuff in the skills and the military can't talk about it, now we still have that continental divide on explaining the work that we do and how we could make your company successful. And when that doesn't happen, you either get unemployed or underemployed people who are going to come and work hard and do things, and job's a job, and then you'll work your way up. Yes, but it's just like testing out of a class in college because you took an AP class in high school. Why would you take that class all over again? You wouldn't, right? So this is leveraging a lot of momentum that's happening in the civilian sector. But again, if we don't jump onto it on our side and train our soldiers how to break the work that they do, which is naturally done for us in the military anyway, we just have to understand how to talk about it. Then we're still talking apples and oranges. And so a complementary effort like this for our soldiers and their loved ones is going to be helpful, because again, this is where things are going.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when I look at this, I see three things here, and it's all around that ability to express, right, your abilities and skills is really what it boils down to, right? So you can land the right job. The three things, it's kind of a three-pronged approach in my mind so far, is you need good resources post-transition, right, to get you ready. Then you need post resources and tools that you can utilize, right? So you need both of those things happening. Then the third component is an aware civilian workforce. Just saying, the civilian workforce needs to be aware of what's going on. So for those that can hear, I got chickens, and this is what it sounds like when they get ready to lay eggs. So you'll hear that. It's a party. It's a flock party.